home, while still so beautiful, it's in danger. Floods, hurricanes, fires. Extreme weather often amplified by climate change.
The sound you hear is the ticking clock. We are in the final countdown to limit global temperature rise, and time is not on our side.
A rapidly changing climate that's taking a toll on all of us.
2024, the hottest year on record.
Those with less may feel it more, but no one is immune from the impacts. So what we do now matters.
I've given a number of tours here, and every time people walk into this is, wow, is this 3D printed? When can I get one?
Here's the great news. Humanity is responding with innovation.
I like this. We're summiting Waste Mountain.
Carbon Capture Mountain.
Carbon Capture Mountain, we'll call it.
Looking for ways to curb the crisis and cope with the consequences.
Chinese EV maker NIO setting itself apart with battery swapping technology.
After less than 3 minutes, we've now got a full battery, 100%.
Our ABC News Live special, Our Home, starts right now.
Hey everybody, I'm Ginger Zee. Thank you so much for streaming with us for our Earth Day special here on ABC News Live, Our Home. Now, our planet, our land, it's hurting. In our rapidly changing climate, we know that, right? There are a lot of problems. But today, we wanted to introduce you to the people and the companies that are making huge strides in solutions. One company, Lithos Carbon, is taking rock dust, yes, just regular old rock, and helping to cool the planet. By putting this into a spreader here on this farm in Butner, North Carolina, they're not only going to suck massive amounts of carbon dioxide out of the air, but they're also going to help feed a very hungry world.
We've tried a lot of things to reverse the effects of climate change. Planting more trees, farming seaweed in the ocean, even sucking carbon dioxide out of the sky with vacuums. And yeah, all of this can help. But it turns out this whole time, a simple solution was right under our feet.
Here are these steps.
Yeah, so you're coming into the old pit.
That solution starts here at the Sun Rock Quarry, just outside Durham, North Carolina. It turns out that certain types of rock do a really good job at getting carbon dioxide out of the air. Less CO2 in the atmosphere, of course, could help turn down the planet's thermostat, slowing the impacts of climate change.
It's not rocket science, it's rock science.
Naturally, the process is called rock weathering, and it starts when rain absorbs carbon dioxide as it falls. When that rain hits volcanic rock, it makes a white chalky substance called bicarbonate that goes into the ocean and often becomes a seashell, which stores that carbon. But that whole process can take thousands to millions of years.
And you can see how fine it is. Like, you can break that up, feel it in your fingers.
Mary Yap, co-founder of Lithos Carbon, wants to speed up this natural process with enhanced rock weathering.
Forever, Sun Rock was just kind of piling up this dust that was the waste product from washing all their product and their rock. But then Mary and Lithos came along and realized this was like gold for taking carbon out of the atmosphere.
It's like putting cubes or rocks of sugar in your coffee, which is probably not going to do much, versus powdered sugar in your coffee.
The powdered sugar, in this case, are very small rocks that were hidden in plain sight. And when sprinkled on farm fields, it can significantly accelerate the time it takes to remove large amounts of CO2. Fortunately, the quarry and others like it have a lot of it laying around.
And don't worry, they're not blasting a big mountain and making a hole in the earth just to make all this happen. This giant mine is already making rock for asphalt and concrete.
When you extract all that ultrafine material out, you've got to find somewhere for it to go. And for the last 10 plus years, we piled it up. We just made some really big piles and made berms out of it.
Those berms of what they thought were waste grew to what they now affectionately call Brown Mountain.
I like this. We're summiting like Waste Mountain.
Exactly. Carbon Capture Mountain.
Carbon Capture Mountain, we'll call it.
A 120-foot mountain of basalt dust that Lithos is buying by the literal truckload. Dozens of trucks lined up all day, picking up this unassuming climate gold. Each truck takes the dust to a farm within 75 miles. That's to limit the greenhouse gas emissions from the drive. They load it into their spreaders and sprinkle it over the soil.
And what we're doing is we're taking this material and spreading out at about like 1 millimeter depth across millions of acres of farmland eventually. And that really accelerates the weathering.
And believe it or not, enhanced rock weathering has another magical property.
The added benefit to it, raising the pH of the soil and increasing crop yields, is that it's cleaning the air at the same time.
Rick Bennett, lifelong farmer and now proud spreader of rock dust, is a firm believer that some things are not too good to be true.
This is volcanic rock. I mean, it's 100% organic, all natural. There's no heavy metals in it. It's totally beneficial. We can set the rate in here of the bulk density of the material so that our spread rate is accurate.
So it's all really like scienced out in here.
Yeah, pretty much. High-tech rednecks, I guess you would say.
As we spread the rock dust on the field, data from the cab of the tractor is transmitted directly to Lithos. Then, Lithos meticulously collects thousands of soil samples to prove that it's working.
So we're going to be taking hundreds of samples here at a super high density and giving that data back to the farmer, the grower, so that they know what's going on in their field. And then we're going to send the other half of the sample that we collect to a geochemical lab so they can do the analysis of the carbon capture.
As of right now, Lithos Carbon provides rock dust for more than 600 farms in at least 10 states, and that will go on until 2030. As with most carbon capture programs, one of the biggest challenges is cost. Funded primarily by companies who want to offset their own carbon emissions, the whole process is free for farmers, for now.
Is enhanced rock weathering scalable?
Absolutely. All the pieces of the puzzle already exist. We just need to snap them together. It's a very simple sort of solution. We're just taking things humans already do, rocks, farms, science, and then bringing it all together. And hopefully something that more of the globe can run with as well.
From the magic in these rocks to the minerals in the ground all over the world, there is a real race to electrify when it comes to EVs, electric vehicles. So we know that Tesla had a bit of a head start, but now companies from the US all the way to China are trying to make EVs that go further, but also are less expensive. And our Britt Clinette got an inside look, really unique look at what they're doing in China to make sure that you can get off fossil fuels without the hefty price tag.
When it comes to electric vehicles, in China it feels a bit like stepping foot into the future. Slick in design and loaded with tech. On the streets of China, EVs are fast replacing their gas-guzzling counterparts. In the last 5 years, the EV industry here has skyrocketed to now 51% of the market share, while in America they account for just 7.5%. Transportation is the largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, about a third of the total emissions, according to the EPA. But electric vehicles, they leave a much smaller carbon footprint than gas-powered cars over their lifetime. China offering proof that a switch to an EV-powered future is within reach. Many here attribute the popularity of EVs to one major player in the industry.
Tesla is the only non-Chinese car maker allowed to own and operate a factory here in China, but with the domestic market exploding, it now faces stiff competition.
Last year, big local brand BYD overtook Tesla as the largest EV maker in the world by sales. Part of the reason Chinese brands have taken off, the entire supply chain is already here. Another big Chinese EV maker, NIO, is setting itself apart with battery swapping technology. NIO invited us to test out one of their swap stations. Instead of waiting to charge your vehicle, NIO will swap in a fully charged battery for their customers.
Driving just in front of the power station now.
Once you're ready, the car takes over.
And it's driving on its own. Backing out and reversing into this power swap station. And I don't have to do anything. So, after less than 3 minutes, we've now got a full battery, 100%.
NIO already has a network of over 3,000 swap stations across China and dozens more already across Europe. And just last month signed a partnership with Tesla's battery supplier to expand even further. To see how EVs are made in China today, NIO opened their doors to their sprawling factory complex in the eastern Chinese city of Hefei. We're told 90% of every part of the car is made within less than a mile radius, while the US has to import parts from around the world. It's a mostly automated production line.
So in traditional factories, you'd see workers driving forklifts around the factory floor. Here, they have robots doing the job.
And at the end, a choreography of robots doing the final inspections and humans driving it off the line.
So much opportunity.
Ted Lee, Vice President of Product Experience at NIO, also gives me another spin of one of their new cars with driverless capabilities.
This is quite a busy road. This is a busy intersection, and the car is turning for us.
Yep.
The car is doing the maneuvers.
Right.
So there is a huge degree of trust now.
Yes.
But it's detecting all the cars around, it's detecting the road.
Yep.
And it's telling us to turn.
Yes.
But don't expect Chinese electric vehicles to hit American roads anytime soon. Last September, the Biden administration dramatically increased the tariff on Chinese electric vehicles to 100%. And they now would be subject to President Trump's additional reciprocal tariffs of 245%. The Trump administration has also made moves to stifle the adoption of EVs, including clawing back money for chargers and signing executive orders that will take us back to the fuel economy standards he put in place during his first term.
ES6.
NIO CEO William Li says he's hopeful that will change one day.
We wish we can provide the best products and the service for the global users. But you know, there are lots of geopolitical reasons you can't do that. So, but I think in the long run, in the long term, I hope we can serve the US users.
Could we live in a world where everyone else is consuming Chinese EVs except for the United States?
We're already seeing that. If you put up a dam on a river, it doesn't stop the water from flowing, it just reroutes it. What's happening is China's going everywhere else.
Bill Russo, a former Chrysler executive who runs a Shanghai-based consultancy called Automobility, explains why American consumers may not have the same love affair with electric vehicles.
We have a multi-generational habit of consuming automobiles. It serves a utilitarian purpose for most people. In China, it came along later. It's not a multi-generational habit, so the purchase consideration goes toward more technology-rich products.
Is it too little too late for the US to play catch-up?
If we want to win the race to the future, you've got to learn how to compete with it. And sometimes competing with it means partnering with it for a period of time.
But partnership seems a ways off, especially considering how the US-China trade war has intensified in recent weeks.
I guess long-term, are you protecting, your own companies and your own potential market growth?
I could build a room for my child at the basement of my house. Am I protecting them from the cruel world of competition that's out there? Sure, but that's not going to make them healthy adults. You have to allow your companies to compete.
Russo says that despite being a controversial figure in the United States, Elon Musk still has superhero status here in China for his role as a vanguard for electric vehicles.
It's not the pioneers who ultimately profit from the end game. It's the settlers that do. The Chinese EV companies are the settlers, and they're delivering better value for the money.
And there's also the environmental impact to think about. Climate scientists say the switch to electric cars will eventually help China curb its huge greenhouse gas emissions. Many are hoping the United States, another one of the world's top emitters, will also catch up.
It's quite amazing how many electric vehicles you see on the road now in China. Do you imagine a world where the United States is doing the same?
At the moment, and based on what I've observed, it's never comparable to this level of electrification. There are still a lot of traditional energy vehicles that are running on the US streets.
Many thanks to Britt. Now, coming up here on Our Home, we have to look at our actual homes, our houses, our buildings. How we construct them is really bad for the planet, at least traditionally. But it doesn't have to be. There are some really amazing sustainable options. Stick around to find out. Welcome back to ABC News Live's Earth Day special, Our Home. Now, with extreme weather taking our homes and changing the way that we live with our planet, we have to replace a lot of houses and actually start building because we have such an affordability crisis in this nation and around the globe. So when we build, though, we can't just do it the way we've always done. Traditional building and construction is one of the hardest things on our planet. Things like concrete and steel have a larger carbon footprint than most nations. But here's the good news. You don't always have to build. You can actually have many other options, like putting something together that's an actual house made of what look like Legos, or printing a house. It's all already happening.
It's warm and welcoming, it's energy efficient, highly customizable, and it has all the modern amenities that you'd expect. But it wasn't built, it was printed.
I've given a number of tours here, and every time people walk into this is, wow, is this 3D printed? When can I get one?
And it could be a sustainable way of addressing the nation's affordable housing crisis.
This is BioHome 3D, the world's first all bio-based 3D printed home. It's made with wood residuals or wood waste from the sawmills in the state of Maine. We thought, how do we take that wood waste and turn it into something very valuable?
That something is this 600 square foot home that has endured 3 winters in Maine. And the team at the Advanced Structures and Composites Center at the University of Maine hope it's going to be the first of many across the country.
This is the printer or the conversion manufacturing cell we use to produce BioHome 3D.
Habib Dogger is the executive director of the center. He's been working on this kind of research for more than 2 decades.
We made it in 3 pieces, and the entryway here and the bathroom were printed in one piece. This bedroom was printed in another piece, and then the living room and kitchen area was printed in the 3rd piece. Notice here, as you look at the house, you see the brown 3D printed lines. So these are the lines of the 3D printer followed to print the house layer by layer.
The building and construction industry is the largest emitter of greenhouse gas emissions, according to the UN. And its materials of choice, cement, steel, and aluminum, all have significant carbon footprints. But a printed biohome is made with just 2 basic ingredients: the wood waste of local sawmills and resin made from corn. By combining these 2 things together, the center creates pellets for its 3D printers.
So these pellets are fed right into the printer. They're heated and they're extruded through a printer head. And that's how we produce this house layer by layer. Now, this material is what's 100% renewable because it is really bio-based.
The material can literally be reused over and over again. Say the homeowner no longer wants the house. The entire home can be broken down into those original pellets, which could then be used to print something else.
We've studied that, and we've done it 5 times over. So we've recycled it 5 times and looked at what happens to the properties. The good news is the properties hold up good enough, so there's so many applications for those materials.
Materials that Doggers say are strong enough to meet Maine's housing requirements and survive Maine's challenging climate. The center outfitted the house with sensors so they can study how it's doing in the elements. Dogger says that 3 years in, the biohome is performing just like a normal house. They're just a lot faster to make.
The more machines you put in, the more you can produce. So it is actually very scalable.
It takes the center about a week to make a biohome, and Dogger says that Maine generates enough wood waste every year to produce 100,000 of them. Considering the scale of this nation's housing crisis, they're going to need all the homes they can print.
We have 7.1 million less affordable homes than we need for really vulnerable low-income people.
Kara Hay is the head of Panquish, a Maine nonprofit that's partnering with the university. They've secured funding to build 9 biohomes for those needing affordable housing. Dogger says scaling up production beyond that will require cooperation with the construction industry, who they'll need as partners.
The advantage of the technology from a cost perspective is that you reduce the amount of labor need, the amount of waste you need, and you can prefabricate everything in a controlled environment. This material is stronger than concrete in compression, yet you can drill through it, and it's 100% recyclable and renewable.
1, 2, 3!
Down in Florida, Renco, short for Renewable Composite, is also skipping the concrete. Instead, they're using giant Lego-like construction bricks to build apartments and houses. Molded from repurposed materials like glass fiber and resin, along with stone, the bricks interlock together using a rubber mallet and adhesive. The company, which just opened its first US-based factory, says that its bricks are stronger than concrete, rated to withstand a Cat 5 hurricane, and they're fire resistant. The new factory can produce enough bricks to make 7,000 houses or apartments per year. Renco completed an apartment complex in South Florida in 2023, a 96-unit complex finished in just 8 weeks.
So if you've ever played with Legos and you've got a child, say under 10 years old, and you've got those basic Lego kits, if you can do that, you can build an apartment building, you can build a house.
Back in Maine, the university is currently building a factory of the future. This will help them expand the sustainable manufacturing research. It will also help train a new generation of workers and collaborate with companies on 3D printing projects.
Right now, younger people across the United States are having a hard time finding homes. They can't afford the homes. Even if they existed, they couldn't afford them. And so this technology would be one tool in the tool shed, if you wish, to provide more housing for society.
From the rocks that we just dropped on this field to the Lego-like homes and even the swapping of those EV batteries, we're going to need all the innovation we can get to keep our home safe. That's it from us here in North Carolina. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Earth Day.